Welcome to the vision. I am so excited to be here.
Yes, it is.
Contain myself.
I know, right? It has been a long time coming for us.
I know.
The vision.
The vision is coming forward. And the reason why I created this podcast, and I'm so excited to have Kelly Breuer here as my first guest, is because I feel like we are at this juncture in time where visionary leaders are going to step forwards and lead the way. And there are big changes that need to happen right now. So
Agreed.
you came into my life at a huge change in our history during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And I feel like what I really want to dive into today is the place you were at when I met you.
The shit show. We were joking about that before even coming onto the podcast. She was like, "Where were you? What do you see? Where's your vision when it started versus now?" And I was like, "Well, I was a shit show," and
I said I wouldn't say that about you. However, she said it about herself.
However, it was the truth. It was the truth.
Wow. And that's what I thought to myself. Wow. However, what I know to be true is visionaries attract each other.
Yes.
And
agreed.
I knew because our relationship kept evolving and growing that there were big things for us to do. And one of the biggest things was to get your vision in order, like tidy it up.
Yes. And it's been quite a journey over the past, 4 years now of really kind of seeing where everything was leading me. And, my vision has changed so drastically from not just 4 years ago, but from when I started 20 plus years ago. And what my vision looked like then is completely changed to what it is now. But yet there's still some elements that are the same.
So where were you when I met you? Like, what was the vision at that point? Can you define that?
God.
For our audience?
It was all over the place. I don't think that I really had what I would call a vision at that point in time.
Big ideas, though.
Big ideas. I've always been one for the big ideas, thinking outside the box. Mm-hmm. I've always been kind of ahead of the game and on the cutting edge of certain things. Like along with other people, but I developed email marketing before Constant Contact, MailChimp, all of that. So I've just always been ahead, but never had a really strategic vision.
The strategy was missing.
Yes.
And that's why it was this piece here and that piece there.
Yeah.
And the stress. The stress
at times was debilitating.
I don't know how you held it together. Here's this vision, right? In fragmented parts.
No idea.
And I would think to myself, this woman is a superhero because you were able to hold it together as one person.
So that's hysterical, though, that you say superhero, because in my phone, people don't know this, but in my phone, if it rings, it says Superwoman. That's what my thing is for Pam. I've always called her Superwoman.
And we showed up with the same jacket today.
I mean, it's just, we align very well together and we play off of each other very well in our ideas. And you have helped me to create my vision for certain things, like the influential woman. Mm-hmm. You saw it before I did.
Yeah.
And you knew that I needed to change certain things and it needed to go into a different direction. Because at that point in time, too, I had She Hustles Talks.
Yes.
And we were like, there's something missing. There's definitely something missing with that. And it filled its purpose for what it needed to be at that point in time. But it very quickly, I learned that it wasn't the right fit with my vision of bringing influential and empowering women together.
What was the sign there? I want to talk about that piece because it's like the vision has an intelligence, and and you were so good at listening to the vision has an intelligence type language, but you got it. Like So what was the sign that it wasn't working to you when you would be in visionary mode, putting something out into the world?
It was the people that I was attracting. Just it wasn't the right fit. Hustles has different meanings for different people.
Yeah.
And I realized very quickly that the meaning for it here in my world and here in Rochester even is it's not what my vision was in my head. So I knew I had to change that.
What was in your head? We have to capture this moment.
Kind of more of a, not hustling as far as Hustlers has one
Hustler magazine.
Yes. Yeah, that. Oh my God. I could go on about that. But it was more of I saw in my head where it was talks with different kinds of women that were hustling as entrepreneurs or as mothers or things like that.
Yeah, really.
But it just didn't click. It really didn't click in people's heads. And then once we started talking and it just kept coming up, empowering, influential, inspiring, all the things that Rochester Woman magazine always had. And it was kind of, it needed to be like the parent part of the magazines, the events, putting all the influential women together in one room. And then it was like, it totally clicked with me when we started talking about it and the logo got brought up.
Yes.
And that's where it all fit together. The influential woman with the Phoenix Rising, because I have been knocked down. My one girlfriend said it so perfectly. She's like, you're like that cat that, has 9 lives and people keep trying to kill you, but you keep coming back and being reborn bigger, stronger than you were before.
That's a visionary leader right there.
Yes.
Holding the vision so strong that even when it feels like it's falling apart, you come back stronger.
Yep.
I think that's
my grandmother taught me to be like that. She taught me very well from a very young age to be strong, and life's going to kick you down, and no matter what, you need to come back up. And I have to say that over the years, I've been kicked down more times than I can count. And there were times where I wanted to just give up on all of the visions and all of the stuff and just say, forget it, and hide myself in my room. But I don't have it in me. I'll be knocked down, okay. But you better bet your ass that I am going to come back bigger, stronger, and more powerful than ever before. And I don't have it in me to quit, and I don't have it in me to let people or things control my end of my life or my vision. And I just think that my grandmother raised me right, and that support has meant the world to me. And then seeing with you and talking with you as we've grown and developed, the vision has become so clear to me.
So I love the way that you took your vision from a scattered, chaotic model. You got the right words and language on it. And I think that that's very interesting about visionary leaders. Like, we have to get in alignment with the right words, and then the words hold the resonance. And then the logo came that gave you the story. And underneath that, I just want to dive a little bit deeper. There's a why about you. Why do you keep going? And I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Like, why? What's the deeper why? What's the heart of Kelly?
Wow. I think it's just that I love what I do. And I love being able to sit back after all is said and done and say, wow, this was powerful, and I made a difference.
There it is. I made a difference.
Whether it be through the magazine with telling people stories,
Yeah.
the events with walking away going, holy cow, that was just incredible. Or there was one moment that was so unbelievably powerful, like the fashion show. I go back to that because that, for me, watching Katie, who was told she had 0% chance of ever walking again, walk on that runway in front of all those people for the first time ever.
First time.
Yes, and the cold sparklers going off as she hit that stage. And just watching her face, I knew right then and there that this is where I was meant to be.
Wow. It's about other people. The vision doesn't come to us for ourselves.
No.
We're not egoic people.
Even though people would like to think that,
yeah.
that we're all about ourselves, or, I've had people say that with me. No, I have never been about that. It's for me, it's always giving back. That's why I like to work with a lot of nonprofits or charity organizations. I love that feeling of being able to give back. And if I have something that they need, like marketing tools, or I can design something, or the fundraising, whatever it might be, I love being able to do that. For me, that makes me feel fulfilled. It makes me feel really good. And then I know that I'm in the right direction and where I'm supposed to be in life.
So what's next for your vision? You elevated it to the influential woman. It's shifted dramatically from that place.
Yes.
This came out of it, your studio, your podcast, helping other people start their podcasts like myself.
So right now I am in the process of fine-tuning and taking all of the pieces, laying them out. Kind of, for me, I've always been like this, where I have to write everything down. I'll write to-do lists, and then I start crossing them off. And I do it daily, weekly, where I'll add stuff in, change stuff around. For me, I have to see it on a piece of paper, and then it's in my head. People used to go nuts with me for the events because I'd have, 300 vendors, and I'd know where each one of them.
No. I know that about you. Like, I got to find Kelly because she knows where you're supposed to go.
And it drives people nuts, because then it's like, okay, it's only in Kelly's head. What if she's not here? But for me, that's just how I've always been able to do this stuff and how I can visualize everything. And so now I am writing all of the things down as far as, okay, these are all the different pieces that I'm doing. Okay, this one, is it going to work? Or do I see a future to this particular point? Let's say, for instance, Central New York Woman online. Do I want to keep it? Do I want to get rid of it? I had to think about all of those type of things. What is the benefit? Am I happy doing it? Is it stressing me out? Is it bringing in other things? So for me, that's my next step. Over the next 6 months, I am going to really hone in on the different things and how they all can fit together to align, and where I'm happiest. And also, obviously, it's got to make good business sense, and it's got to be making money. But I've got some ideas. I have definitely got some ideas. I'm never getting rid of Rochester Woman. Whether it makes me money or it doesn't, I'm never getting rid of it. It is in my blood. I have poured more sweat equity and blood, sweat, tears into that publication. And it's been, it's going on 17 years.
Wow.
17 years. That's a long time. It's like a kid.
It's almost like what I was saying while you're talking was it's the foundation. It just keeps giving and giving and giving to the rest of the vision.
Yes.
And it's not meant to go anywhere. No. It just supports the entire synergy of how all the parts work together. So in closing, do you see yet as you're writing this all out on paper, the synthesizer, the part that brings it all together?
Yep. And what you're saying is it's that key element of Rochester Woman and it being able to feed off of the rest of the parts, the events, the publication, yes, but the Conversations with Kelly podcast. It all comes down to Rochester Woman and that base behind it. So the social media marketing. But my audience of 100,000 is all based off of all of these pieces folding in together to make one.
There's the strategy right there. It's like the vision goes from a vision into practical application, into reformatting itself and reformatting itself and reformatting, just like we do with computer systems until we,
until you get it. And and I tried Central New York, Capital, Buffalo, all came back to boop, boop. They're all, what is the word? I'm trying to think of the word, but they're all in the peripheral vision. They're not the central focus. And I needed to get rid of all the distractions to make the central focus work.
I love it. That is a beautiful place to end. Get rid of the distractions to get the central focus to work. I love it.
It's taken a long time, but we're doing it.
Visionaries don't give up. We just keep going because we're driven by the vision. It's a higher calling. So if you feel called, if you're a visionary, if you want support or you want to share your story, please reach out. This show is about sharing your story, sharing your influence, making the world a better place of togetherness.
Yes.
Rather than separation. Thank you. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you for having me.
It's been awesome.